tonight. The tuttle vine has become the biggest threat to Niue's flora, so can it be stopped? Pacific leaders called for an increase in climate funding and better access for Pacific nations at COP29 in Azerbaijan. And the Matavai Resort welcomes a new general manager. Ke he tauwhisiale mo I tauwhisipua ha Niue whekai whakalofalahi atu. Greetings and welcome to BCN News. It's in almost every backyard in Niue, as well as the rainforest and the coastline. The invasive devil's ivy, locally known as tuttle vine, has become the biggest threat to Niue's flora and fauna, and the wider effects could be devastating. The Department of Environment says it is now looking for a biocontrol agent to eradicate the tuttle vine, but can it be stopped? Here's the story.
When I first came back in 2004, it wasn't this bad.
Pinky Tawhatu Hipa still remembers when she could see the floor of her backyard in Alofi North.
I could clear this whole area and then it was clean and I planted belly trees, all the rocks you can see all the way down there.
Now it's a different story.
Smothered with all these invasive species.
She has 5 invasive species in her backyard, but she says it's tuttle vine that's taken over.
It's killing the coconut trees, our V trees.
She's not the only local concerned about the threat of this invasive. Experts and local stakeholders rank the tuttle vine as number 1 at a workshop held by the Department of Environment to identify Niue's top 5 invasive species.
That's a tuttle vine. Tuttle vine is definitely the worst invasive weed that we have here on the island, just in terms of how fast it's spreading.
The rampant spread of tuttle vine has sparked grave concerns for the island's ecosystem.
There are other important habitat areas for important species like the coconut crab. It will actually grow on top of that as well. So not only does it kill the native vegetation, but it also takes away some of the important habitats for other key species that we have on the island.
It's going to take over the whole of Niue.
A notoriously resilient plant that can grow back from even the tiniest fragments. Traditional methods like cutting and burning have proved ineffective.
If you're using chemicals to treat taro vine, then you risk poisoning, the trees that they are attached to.
If you happen to mow it, a little bit of leaf like that gets thrown into an area will start growing.
Experts believed it was dispersed across Niue by Cyclone Heta in 2004. With climate change intensifying, concerns grow that history may repeat itself.
This is the problem with things like climate change as well, where you've got, the risk of more frequent and more intense storms and hurricanes and stuff like that.
All hope now lies with this tiny bug. Researchers hope could be the answer. It's currently being tested in Auckland and could be introduced as early as 2025.
There's 2 lace bugs, one we found in Fiji and one in Vanuatu, which are of interest. So those are the 2 that we're kind of concentrating on at the moment.
This month, Manaaki Whenua Landcare Research delivered the first air potato leaf bug to be released in Niue to counter the invasive air potato vine.
We do make sure we do our due diligence to make sure that the impact that these biocontrol agents will have to the environment or to, the commercial side of things is, as minimal as possible, basically. So there's very, very little risk involved with releasing these biocontrol agents.
To eradicate something means that you have to completely remove it. The challenge that we do have right now is that we do not have enough resources in terms of funding and also personnel to eradicate it from you. It's just gotten to a stage now where we have to think about other options. What other options do we have?
Entwined in a battle against the tuttle vine's grip, conservationists determined to find a solution. Moana Makapilu Lee, BCN News.
The one usually it kills it, either the host plant will fall over.
Prime Minister Dalton Tangelangi has pledged Niue's continued commitment to addressing climate change at the United Nations Climate Change Conference, also known as COP29 in Azerbaijan. Delegates from nearly 200 countries have gathered at the United Nations Annual Climate Change Summit, where Pacific leaders have called for an increase in climate funding and access for Pacific Island nations. Here's Mere Satakala with more.
Speaking at the Moana Blue Pacific Pavilion, the Prime Minister launched Niue's updated Nationally Determined Contribution Pledge, or NDC, with a focus on sustainable ocean management, emission reduction, and climate adaptation strategies for island nations. He said it was not only a roadmap for emission reduction, but a safeguarding of ecosystems with a priority on marine conservation and adaptation. He also reaffirmed Niue's ambitious goal of sustainable management for 100% of Niue's ocean, including the Niue Moana Mahu, a marine protected area covering 40% of Niue's exclusive economic zone. Meanwhile, Minister for Natural Resources, Honorable Mona Ainu, was invited to speak on an esteemed panel at the Moana Blue Pacific Pavilion discussing restoring island resilience through managing invasive species in Niue. Following this, Honorable Ainu was invited to speak at the Climate Mobility Pavilion for Youth Lead the Way in Building Resilience and Sustaining a Dream. She highlighted the importance of recognizing and valuing the role of our oceans and shared Niue's ongoing ocean conservation efforts as part of our contribution to global environmental sustainability. The conference ends on the 22nd of November. Mer Satakala, BCN News.
Hundreds gathered in Mutalau on the weekend for the ordination of the new village pastor, Reverend Scanland Misiepo, and his wife, Rosalind Misiepo. Reverend Scanland and his wife previously served the village of Hikutavake from 2018 to 2023. Among those present for the Ululauta Matae Whanua on Saturday were leaders of the Ekalesia Krisiano Niue Church, as well as family and friends. The ordination was led by the president of Ekalesia Church, Reverend Nevi Salatielu. The program included blessings for 2 commemorative plaques and the completion of the Mutalau Church's renovations officiated by the head deacon of the Mutalau Ekalesia Tutaue Siakifilo and retired pastor Reverend Moka Tongakilo. Niue is closer to its goal of generating 80% of its energy from renewable sources by next year. Almost $20 million has been invested in upgrading the island's energy infrastructure since 2018. The funding was provided in large by New Zealand to support Niue's renewable energy aspirations. New Zealand High Commissioner Mark Gibbs spoke to BCN at the pre-launch event of the new power station at Tuila.
And COVID-19 came along and delayed the design of Phase 2. But once borders reopened, New Zealand contracted in expert technical consultants, and they were able to start the design work in early 2023. So the outcome of that design work was a $20.5 million investment from New Zealand's International Climate Finance Fund.
The Australian government has invested $2 million towards the project. Niue Airport's fence upgrade is also close to completion. The Ministry of Infrastructure hosted a soft launch for the airport perimeter fence upgrade last month. The project began in June last year and was led by Mautama Construction, Niue Shop Exports and GHD New Zealand. The fence upgrade was undertaken to enhance aviation safety at Niue's airport and to meet full compliance with New Zealand and international civil aviation standards. Director of Transport Morgan Maungavalu expressed his appreciation to the key contributors for their commitment to delivering the new fence. Minister for Infrastructure Crossley Tātui acknowledged the support provided by New Zealand for the project. From delicate fibres to vibrant patterns, Niue's oldest art form has been intricately woven in a book. Weavers of Men and Women, written by Dr. Hilke Thode Aurora, explores the ancient art of weaving in Niue. The German anthropologist returned to Niue last week, 2 decades after her initial research for the Berlin Museum, to share the fascinating stories behind the threads. Here's the story.
The book, titled Weavers of Men and Women, was a 3-year project, gives an overview on Niuean weaving materials such as laufa, lanui, pia, the kinds of kato, pulo, and mats woven, and how they are classified by the Niuean weavers in Auckland and Niue, and what they are used for. The book was published in 2009 and has now been made available here in Niue. She spoke with BCN News to share more about the book.
What I tried to do together with the Niuean weaving experts in Auckland and here was to set up a classification system of Niuean weaving. So actually to classify what all is woven, or what do we know what has been woven in the past. For example, from Laufa you would do things like the katupakafa, which is a fashion item, or which is a bag which people wear in their daily life. But if you look at Launiu, you would have the katukautaha or katukauua, which are very special baskets for giving food or for ceremoniously giving food.
She learned that weaving is much more than the intertwining strands, but that it feeds into many areas of Niuean social life. She thanked many of the ladies involved in the project, especially the women of Makefu village.
The title of the book is actually a quote. It's called Weavers of Men and Women, and that's a quote from young Viviani, who talked about his late wife when I was here 20 years ago. And he said she was not only a weaver of beautiful mats and hats and baskets, she was also a weaver of men and women. And this is what I found very true too. To see how weaving was, or maybe still is, an integral part of Niuean culture and Niuean society.
A few of the pieces of Niuean weavings are now displayed at the prestigious new museum called Hubert Forum, located at the center of Berlin as a result of this project. The book can be purchased from the Tahiono Gallery at the Commercial Center.
Well, the book was already published in 2009, so a number of years ago, and English is not my mother tongue, German is my mother tongue, but my feeling was this is a book about Niuean weaving, so I should publish it in English so that it can go back to Niue, and so that Niuean ladies and Niueans are able to read this book. And this is what I tried to do.
Dr. Aurora is currently a curator and is the head of Department Oceania and Provenance Research Liaison Officer of the Five Continents Museum in Munich, Germany. Mersa Takala, BCN News.
He's the new face of the Matavai. James Shelton from Broome, Australia has been appointed as the new General Manager of Niue's iconic resort. Shelton, who arrived in Niue last month, says he was inspired to take up the role at the scenic Matavai Resort after watching a documentary of Niue on National Geographic. He brings years of experience in hospitality and was previously with the Mangrove Resort Hotel in Broome.
Like most people in the world, I've never heard of Niue. I did a lot of research on the island and the people here and what was here. And then I saw a documentary with National Geographic about the Protecting Paradise. And I think that was a switch in me. That's something I'm pretty passionate about is sustainability and environment. The company that manages Matavai Scenic are also very keen on sustainability and environment and win a lot of awards for that. So those two combined here is a great opportunity for me to be involved in the community, be involved in the sort of environmental protection and drive tourism environmentally.
Shelton will lead major renovations to elevate Matavai's 4-star rating to 4.5 star. The plans include a transformation to the resort's entrance, reception and bar, and a revamp of its rooms. 30 contractors will arrive from New Zealand to commence work in January.
Advertising Niue out to the world. A lot of the tourism here is from New Zealand, and I think there's a good opportunity. People in Australia and Europe are really looking for this kind of adventure tourism, and doing it in a sustainable way. We can develop the resort and the island together.
Shelton will lead the scenic Matavai Resort in Niue for a 5-year term. To sports, Niue Lawn Bowls team is set to compete at the prestigious Oceania Challenge in New Zealand next week. President and coach Des Heeper says preparations have been going well for the team, who have been training over a year.
Yeah, we've been preparing most of this year, leading up to this tournament, and so far the team's going well. One of our players is currently in Auckland training, couple of months now. But the team's been training here, and our training's been going good. and they're performing well, and we hope to do well in the games.
It's a full squad consisting of 5 men and 5 women. They'll be competing in the singles, pairs and fours categories.
The Oceania consists of teams from, for this tournament anyway, Niue, Cook Island, Samoa, Tonga, Tokelau, Norfolk Islands, and then we have New Zealand under 26 and the Maori team as well, and I think possibly a couple team, one of Australia development team and also under 26 team.
The team departs for New Zealand tomorrow. Niue wishes them all the best. Taonga Niue was host to a special art exhibition last week featuring works created by father and daughter duo Matangi Jessup Vilitama and Crystal Matangi Vilitama from the village of Mutalau. The exhibition, called Atua Atua, commemorated 178 years since the arrival of Christianity to Niue. It was launched in Uluwehi in October as a nod to the village where Christianity first settled in Niue before being displayed at Taonga.
This exhibition is about showcasing our who we are, our identity. It's about looking back, and after 50 years or so of government, we felt that it's important to reflect visually. People have done singing, people have done speeches. We felt that it's important that we do have some visual representation of the past 50 years and beyond.
I felt the need to lean into my talent and kind of share that. I also wanted to use this as a way to kind of inspire my children and the youngers who have eyes on me to lean into their talents and not let it take a back seat or a side hustle to your 9 to 5, but to live it.
Atua Atua is the first instalment of 4 exhibitions the 2 artists will display over the next 12 months. That's our news bulletin for tonight. You can join us for our Wangahau News Bulletin next Tuesday. A special whakalofa atu to our viewers from across the region and to our partners at Pacifica TV. I'm Moana Makapiluli, monuina i pō.